likes to control the start of the heat like we predicted. No rock, paper, scissors to start off this heat. It's going to be just classic battling for position. We'll see if Ryan decides to throw any change-ups on Leo. They got to see each other grow and turn into world-class surfers. Jordy Smith, still on tour. Thinking about that rookie year, 2008. That was a 8th world title for Kelly. Back to this one. First wave controlled by L.Fioravanti and blitzes that first section. Woo. Coming around the corner, super clean rail work. Driving into a big section with power and authority. Fioravanti wraps it again. The Italian with a fade. Nice draw into the pocket with that open face, cut back. Leans back to change up the variety, and a shutdown section for Leonardo. So comfortable, so confident, demanding the inside. And he takes an early advantage against his good friend R.Callinan.
And as you said, lost a tiebreaker at pipe. He wants to win his first event ever right here. How's that opening blitz, as you said? Goes into the wrap for the second one, and then once again just goes to town. He is surfing in the pocket the entire time, Joe. That is so difficult when this wave stretches out. Identifies the high tide right now, though, and just doing some amazing work on the forehand. When we talk about just surfing on rail with a lot of poise and precision, he has really done that on this wave. Once again, the clean finish right here on the inside. Damage had been done way on the outside, though. Fought for positioning, made sure to guarantee his spot on the inside of this wave. And once again, this combination was just destructive, Joe. We are talking about world-class surfing at a world-class wave by one of the best European surfers to ever do it.
That was so impressive. Every turn was just perfect, precise, and with a lot of power and progression.
And look at where he's surfing. I mean, you saw his bottom turn start behind the whitewater. He's coming around the section and always surfing next to the coping of the wave. In the pocket the entire time. The most critical sections on display right here by the Italian surfer. Dropped an excellent score in his opening round. He, Joe, might get another one right here. But when we talk about creativity and just difference in maneuvers on the outside and real short spaces, he had 3 of them, Joe. He makes waves count, as you're mentioning. What's the whole point of getting the inside and getting the first wave of the heat if you're not converting on anything, Joe? As you see the answer here from Rhino.
Callinan, big first turn with the fins out. Deep off the bottom, crushes that second opportunity. He's got his flow down. A big hammer off the top again for the Australian. Foam climb right into another big snap vertically over the top of the roof again. And Ryan is fired up with a big answer back to L.Fioravanti.
What a great exchange. I'm a huge fan of this wave too, Joe. Obviously different pacing, goofy versus regular. He has to surf the wave to the 767. So you see, Joe, below tail start things off. How's that deep bottom turn? Always staying in the pocket. Once again, as crisp as you could get on the back end, especially with how high of a tide. The back end of this wave, not bad. Sections weren't as critical, though, and it's so hard to make it look difficult on the back end when you're as smooth as Ryan. There was a lot of great surfing done on that wave, though, Joe, and the bottom turn is a key piece to success out here going on the back end. Look at how long that arc was coming off of the bottom. It is so impressive when you do it 2 times in a row. Even touch the rail for the second one, Joe.
That was classy. How deep he's going off the bottom. I love that filler move. That was a filler move of substance with that vertical climb.
And another thing to point out, too, is that...
big fin throw on that carve. Holds the rail and the one to follow. Section's giving him a little downtime, but he will float over the next section. Winds up again, and an absolute perfect carve. Foam climb over the top. Puts himself in position for a full wrap. Lays down the cutty again. These two have had a ton of time, a ton of dinners together, hanging out in the pool at their house, and now it's just been fireworks. Fioravanti will throw down another finish. No falls, no mistakes from Leo, who's taking control of this heat.
Smart and intelligent matter. The outside, though, just lethal. How's that layback? Fully pushes and engages the rails right there. Combos it up with the wrap, a lot of speed. And look at the adjustment right here. Has to go for the floater. Make sure to get the right angle coming out of it, too. Not trying to oversurf it. And this is where you have to readjust your pacing once again. Slow things down. Make sure you're just surfing on rail the entire time, not trying to push too hard either. And it's just so intelligent from a guy that's been there and done that for a good number of years too. Once again, takes his time. And this is just like the icing on the cake, Joe. Nothing incredible, just good though. And a lot of times at the CT level, good is enough. So you want to be able to close out a heat in that way. Outside that, we're talking about a complicated first couple of maneuvers, Joe. How's the amount of spray and torque that we saw out of those first few on the outside? He is just surfing at his own level, number 6 in the rankings for a reason at the moment. The Italian, Joe. And maneuver selection has been on point so far in this heat.
All those squats are paying off. He's absolutely in love with his training program. Every time he's throwing down the rail, he's just flexing. I don't think his legs ever burn, even on a wave that is so demanding like this.
So crazy too, because obviously spends a lot of time in the gym, but the only real way to get adjusted and really physically prepared for surfing is by surfing, Joe. How many waves do you need to catch in a free surf for your legs to be accustomed?
And then right back to business, no breaks, watching the screen till their eyes bleed. And they love it. Waking up at 4 every morning to do it again. Paddling for this one out the back is R.Callinan, looking to break the combo on this wave. Nice pace, overhead section. Calms things down, backhand float. Throwing down a big vertical hack. Had a slide on a tough section. Throws it in the pocket again. Throwing the tail and doesn't reverse. What happened on Ryan's wave?
Well, this was an insane wave on the outside, Joe. More of a projecting floater down the line. This second one was crazy, though. Look at the way he does basically a board slide on the lip line right there. It's the first wave of the set. He had to commit to something, knowing he's in a combo, and then he pulls this thing off right here. And we are talking about a major number. Unfortunately, too many ribs coming from the side offshore wind we have, side onshore, excuse me, wind that we have at the moment. First below tail on the outside was ridiculous. Then I'm thinking to myself right here, okay, wait for this thing to clean up a little bit on the inside, especially with that high tide. And pushes right here, Joe. He was able to ride out of this. We're talking about a major number. You saw those ribs coming up the face of the wave, and unfortunately, Joey ain't going to break the combo. And as you said, first fall for Leo right here, trying to get the judges' attention, pushing really hard right there, and kind of a dangerous fall with that board.
As the Aussie will scratch into this one. Smaller wave, but might have a better open face. He punches out that first section, working hard to get down the line. Setting up the backside little ollie. You know he wanted to do something big, just not finding it there.
Yeah.
Vallejo up again. Liftoff off the projection float there, and he'll get stuck. So a couple of falls after those. Ryan with priority, minute 30 to go. Is unable to turn the heat with one wave, but he's going to let it all out here. Backside snaps, throwing it in the pocket. Taps that one just a little bit behind. Backside float. Now finding a nice fun section to blitz that radical vertical reverse. And he'll smash the end section. Those were the type of turns he wanted to release, and the crowd will appreciate that final wave from R.Callinan. And
but more of an air, just like the blow tail reverse, like he did right there.
But yeah, just that whole thing is actually in the air. It's one of the craziest things that I've seen above the lip. And Leo gets stuck again. So he's had a few falls after he got his 15.97 total. He got a 6.33, was left chasing a 9.64. L.Fioravanti will pass Rio Waida on the live rankings. Now up to world number 5 as he heads in to the round of 16.